Hey, thanks for making it to Veterans Info Tap. I'm glad you made it. I wanted to talk to you today about VA funny math. Look, 50 and 50 does not equal 100% in the VA's eyes. Anybody who has a claim or has claims that have been through the whole process and you've gotten your final percentages, understand that. You're sitting there trying to do the math and wondering, why did they come up with this number? They must have screwed up. Well, the VA is a mystery in a lot of ways, and so I'm going to shine a little light in there to let you know how they added up. I'll give you a couple examples of how they add up your conditions and what that looks like, and then also shift into how important it is to get that correct rating, because sometimes, I'll see people who should be rated at, we'll just use an example of GERD, gastroesophageal reflux disease, that bad heartburn. People should be at a 60%, right? They meet all the criteria for a 60% rating, but they don't talk about their signs and symptoms and all that stuff correctly. So the VA ends up rating them lower because they don't have the information needed to rate the higher rating. So we'll talk about that too. But first, let's jump into the VA funny math, which is always a funny thing to talk about. All right, so first, hit the thumbs up, subscribe, share with a friend, all that good stuff. I really appreciate it. It helps the channel out a lot. If you want to look for other ways to support the channel, you can definitely become a member. You can hit that join button that makes you be a member. And then that also helps me to find you quicker in the comments. The two asks that I have now moving forward is please hit the thumbs up and look, let the video run. It helps to throw this into the hands of those that need it, right? If you need it, awesome, you got it. You could pay it forward by hitting the thumbs up and letting the video run. If you don't need it because you already know it, good for you. But let the video run so that way it can go into somebody else's hands who needs it, right? All right, so jumping into it. The VA funny math. Again, 50 and 50 does not equal 100 in the VA's eyes. That would actually equal 80 in the VA's eyes. So how that works, so I'll give you three examples. So 50 and 50, since we've already talked about it. The way VA looks at that is, okay, fine, you're 50% bad. They'll take your first condition, highest rating. In this case, they're the same. 50% bad. Well, guess what? That means you're still 50% good. Then the VA looks back and goes, okay, your next rating, in this case, it's your last rating. So your next rating is 50%. And they're going to go, okay, well, 50% of your 50% good is 25%. So 25% added to your 50% bad is 75. No more ratings, okay? Your true rating, this is an important piece, is 75. But everybody knows that you're not paid out in off increments. It's always 10%, right? You're either a 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, or 100% rated veteran, or you're on special monthly compensation. So your true rating at 250% is a 75%. It's important to understand that because that will help you know how far you need to go to get to the next level. In this case, you got a long way to go because you got to reach 85 now in order to get to the next level. So with your 75, what they're going to look at is go, okay, well, there's no more ratings. You're at 75. Okay, we're going to round to the nearest 10, 80. So 50 and 50 is 80% rating with the VA. And again, the true rating is 75%. So you still got to cross that hump and get over to the 85 percentile in order to make it to the 90% rating. Let's talk about another one. Let's say that you have 3 50% ratings. Okay, 3 50% ratings, whatever they're for, right? So 50%. First one, okay, well, that takes you to 50%, and then you're still 50% good. So the VA goes, okay, your next 50% is 50% of your 50% good is 25. So they add that to your 50, you're at 75, just like the other one. But now you have that other 50% that's now coming, right? Let's say you just went in and you got another condition rated at 50%. So now the VA is going to go, okay, well, we were paying you at 80%, right? But your true rating is 75. So we got to work off of that. So you're 75% bad. That means you're still 25% good. Then they're going to take your new 50% and they're going to go, okay, 50% of 25 is 12 and a half. 12 and a half plus your 75 is 87.5, rolls to 88. No more, no more conditions, you're at 88%. That is your true VA rating, 88%. But again, they don't pay you out at 88%. They're going to go, okay, well, let's round you to the nearest 10. They'll round you to 90. So now you're at 90%. So 350s is a 90% rating with the VA. Now, let's look at another one. Let's say you got a 60, a 50, and a 30, and hopefully I can figure that out in my head. So 60. So 60% bad. Okay, you're 60% bad for whatever. We'll say GERD, right? So you got 60% for GERD, gastroesophageal reflux disease, bad heartburn. You got rated at 60%. Awesome. VA is going to look at that, go, great, yes, we agree. You're 60% bad. Psh, moves it over there. Well, that means you're still 40% good. 40% good. Then they're going to go to your next one. Let's say you're rated 50% for migraines. Okay, those migraines, 50%. So they're going to take 50% of your 40% good. That's 20%. 50% of 40 is 20. They're going to take that 20 and push it over to your bad side, your GERD at 60. So 60 plus 20 is now 80. So now you're 80% bad. Well, that means you're still 20% good. Love the VA. So you're 20% good. Now your next rating we're calling is 30%. So 30% of your 20, right? So that is, if I'm doing my math right, 9%. So I think, so 30, maybe it's 6. 6. So it's 6. So 6%. So 6 plus your 80 is 86. 86 closes it out, rounds up to 90. So there you go. That's the VA funny math, and it's not really that fun. So the bottom line is the closer you get to that 95%, which would round to 100, the closer you get, the harder it is to get there. It's really important to have a couple big conditions, a big high value claim percentages type conditions. And in my mind, every condition counts, right? Every 10% counts. Make sure you don't leave anything on the table. Now, when it comes to making sure that your rating is the correct rating, utilize the VA's schedule of ratings. It's all there for you, and it really shows you exactly what the VA is looking for as far as the criteria to assign a specific rating on a specific condition. So in other words, your condition is X. Doesn't matter what condition it is because it's in the schedule of ratings. So find that condition, then you'll be able to read, oh, okay, well, this condition has whatever, 3 opportunities for ratings. I can get a 10%, a 30%, or a 60%. So that would be similar to GERD. GERD allows that. So 10, 30, or 60. Those are your options. Well, which one are you, right? Are you 60% or are you 10%? Do you meet the criteria for 10%, but you feel like it should be 60? Or do you meet the criteria for a 60, but you don't articulate it, so they pay you out at a 10, right? So it's important to understand what the VA is looking for with regard to the severity of your condition. You could double down, triple down with that, and make sure that your doctor, you could have your doctor fill out this DBQ for you, the disability questionnaire, and incorporate that language for the appropriate rating into your DBQ. You could, if you're getting a Nexus letter, you can have them incorporate that into the Nexus letter. You can make sure that you state it yourself. You could take it to the CNP exam and make sure that you regurgitate it, right, since it's GERD, and share that information there to make sure that you're tapping every time on the exact criteria that's needed for the appropriate rating. Look, at the end of the day, you're the patient. You know whether or not you're experiencing these things, right? So read through the schedule of ratings, understand what criteria is needed, and if you meet all the criteria for a specific rating, then that's what you should be rated for. So make sure that you pass that information along in all the different facets, whether it's your private doctor, your VA doctor, getting it into a Nexus letter, getting it into your notes and your files, making sure that you talk about it in the CNP exam. And oh, by the way, look, There's no harm in taking it with you, print it out, and read it off of a piece of paper at the C&P exam. Nobody's saying that this is some sort of a closed book test and you need to rely on your memory. So set yourself up for success. All right, so with that, thanks so much for watching. I appreciate each and every one of you. I hope you have a great one. And remember, if we don't take care of each other, something went wrong.